welcome everyone to this episode Study on Spotlight from Dadi Education. I am Regan from Dadi, and today we have a very special guest, University of South Wales, Kim. Thank you very much for your time today.
Hello.
So please tell a little bit about the school, so maybe your position and also a little bit where the school is.
Yeah, so you introduced me well. My name is Kim Williams. I work in the international office at the University of South Wales with responsibility for helping students to come to the university from East Asia. So it's great to be here today. The University of South Wales, as the name suggests, is in Wales rather than England, but still within the UK. We have 3 campuses. One based in Cardiff, which is the capital city of Wales. That's where all of our creative industries courses are based, in our Cardiff campus. So you've got fashion, photography, film, design, advertising, all the creative industries based within one campus in the city centre. Our biggest campus is then our Forest campus, which is about 20 minutes north of Cardiff on a train. It's in the Welsh Valleys, as we call them. So it's very green. It's a big campus. It's really, really pretty, really scenic. That is our biggest campus, which is basically where our business courses are based, business, law, accounting. We also do engineering, from mechanical engineering, civil engineering, to more specific areas of engineering, such as aircraft maintenance engineering and automotive engineering. We also have our chiropractic course based at Forest campus, and we're actually just working on finishing off a brand new building for those students. So we're going to have a brand new clinic for chiropractic students. As you'd expect of any kind of campus, we've got everything on campus that students might need, including the Students' Union. We've got the on-campus accommodation. And we also have our nursing programs based at this biggest campus, as well as our sports courses as well. Mm-hmm. Then our third campus is in a city called Newport, which is basically 10 minutes by train from Cardiff, home to kind of youth and social work courses, but also a lot of our postgrad business courses are kind of moving there. So that's our campuses, in South Wales.
Amazing. So, you know, when students study overseas, they think about going to the UK, but maybe not realize that there are many cities or maybe countries combined to make the UK. So is there much difference between England or Wales?
I'm not Welsh.
Oh.
I'm English.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like I'm qualified to say this. Mm-hmm. The people in Wales are incredibly friendly, like amazingly friendly. Everybody gets a really warm welcome. So I've been in Wales 15 years. I will stay there forever. I've married a Welshman. I'm pretty settled. This is nothing against kind of England or English. But that's the one thing that I find students really, really notice, is that you get a warm welcome and everybody's part of a really friendly kind of student, but also wider community as well.
Okay. What about like more specific to cities? Because I would say comparing between both of them, I would compare like London to Cardiff probably. I think it's the best way to compare the more busier cities.
Absolutely. So Cardiff, like London, is a capital city. Mm. It's not as big, also not as expensive. So Cardiff is actually the second most affordable UK city for students at the moment.
Oh. So
you get all the experience of a capital city. There's loads of sporting events, music. Taylor Swift came to us not long ago. Loads of arts, cultural things going on for students to get involved in, but you don't have the price tag of London. Wales is also home to some of the best beaches in the world, like award-winning beaches.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which ones?
So there's an area. So if you were kind of coming into Wales from England, you pass through Newport, where we've got the campus, you go into Cardiff. If you carried on towards Swansea and just a little bit past Swansea, there's an area called the Gower. And
wow.
I'm obviously biased because I live there and I get to go to the beach, but it's an absolutely stunning part of the world.
Okay, because students who maybe never heard of Cardiff or just Wales, they thought UK, capital of UK is London.
Yeah.
It's very, very different. So, I mean, what about the city life? You did mention how it's not as pricey, but still the capital city in Cardiff. I think some things that student might be concerned is, there's nothing there. It's very boring compared to London. Is it really that case?
Absolutely not. It's a capital city, but it is quite small. But that just means that it's compact because there's still as much going on. Great for shopping. Rugby as a sport is huge in Wales. So we've got the football stadium, we've got the rugby stadium, but the atmosphere on a rugby day in Cardiff is absolutely incredible. They like to celebrate. There's music venues. A lot of students will choose to live in Cardiff and study in Treforest, just because they will prefer to live in the city rather than in the valleys that I mentioned.
Okay, so what about accommodations for students? Is it because it's a smaller city, is it hard for students to find student accommodations or maybe rent apartments?
In Cardiff?
Yeah, or maybe just in general in other campuses as well, because I feel like accommodation is something that students are quite concerned on as well.
Absolutely understandable. Where you live is just as important as where you study, so you want to be living in the right place with the right people. So if you were to study on our Treforest campus, we do have on-campus accommodation. And we have a range of different types of accommodation, but all of them are en suite, which I think some students find attractive because it means you've got your own bathroom as well as your own bedroom. Then you have your shared spaces with your kind of living and kitchen areas. So the majority of students, international students particularly, will live on campus if that's where they're studying. If students study in Cardiff, we do have halls of residence right next door to the campus. Okay. The campus is right between the two main train stations in Cardiff. So it's really, really convenient for kind of transport links into Cardiff, other places in the UK, but also students tend to live at those halls of residence. So in terms of convenience, they can literally roll out of bed over the road into lectures.
Oh, wow. Very convenient as well. But what if traveling overseas? Like, does Cardiff have their own airport, or typically do students have to fly to London and then head over to there as well?
We do have an international airport in Cardiff. So, yeah, we have the international airport, and we do have arrival services whereby if students do arrive into Cardiff, they can arrange free taxi to their accommodation. Oh. So that's really convenient as well. However, it's unlikely that many students will be able to get a direct flight. Our main link at the moment is via Amsterdam. So, but you can get to anywhere from Amsterdam, can't you, right?
Yeah, of course.
So lots of students will come into Cardiff just so that they can get that free airport transfer service. Many students do come into Heathrow. We also offer arrival services there as well. We don't quite put on a free taxi there, but we can arrange for someone to come and meet students, help them buy train or coach tickets, make sure they've got the right instructions so they know where they're going for their onward travel into South Wales.
Okay. How far is it from London to Cardiff, actually, or just other campuses? I suppose the 3 campuses are quite close by, is it?
Yes. Yeah. So Cardiff is if we use Cardiff as the marker, you've got Newport, which is about 10 minutes by train east of Cardiff.
Wow, that's actually a lot closer than I thought. I thought it's like 30 minutes. That's okay as well.
Just 10 minutes. And then the Treforest campus, the main campus, is about 20 minutes by train. But it's a lush train journey. There, I just used a Welsh term there as well for you, lush.
Lush is luxury?
It means beautiful, lovely, really nice.
Okay.
Lush.
Wow, I'm learning here as well. Learning languages as well. But from London to any of those places, around an hour, 2 hours maybe?
You can get from Paddington to Cardiff in just under 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
Direct train.
I feel like, because, I feel like the Google Maps always out of proportion, because when I see the map, I'm like, wow, this is like a 4 or 5 hour flight time, because the map is just like, whoa, it's so big.
Just under 2 hours by train. And I think a lot of students find South Wales attractive because we are. So, in terms of living costs, it's affordable. Students can come and study with us. They can get excellent value for money, but we've got really good transport links to London. So, come a weekend, students can go and visit London. There's a direct train up to Birmingham. You can pretty much get to anywhere within the UK from from South Wales.
That is good because, it's always like a mindset thing I find interesting is when students inquire, or maybe just us traveling to see schools, we always use like a tourist kind of mindset, like, oh, what's there to do? Is there a lot of people? But realistically, you're not going to be like a tourist, right? You're not going to look at all the attractions as a student. You're actually living there for at least 3 to 4 years. I mean, even in Hong Kong, we live here. We're not a tourist. We're not going to go out and go to the attractions every day. It's really about the locations. Like, what's it like living here? The cost of living. Is there any opportunities there as well? So I feel like going to study overseas needs to have the same mindset. Don't use like your tourist experience or tourist mindset to judge whether this place is for you. Because as a tourist, you're going to look for all the best attractions and all the exciting and fun things to do. But when you live there, it's not about that. It's really about giving you a good, balanced lifestyle, an environment that fits you in as well. So I feel like when we do these kind of talks, is really to bring out what's it like living there rather than what's there to do. It's very different kind of conversations, I feel like.
Yeah, I completely agree with that as well. In terms of what South Wales is like to live, I've said there's loads to do. But what's it actually really like? It's really welcoming. I can't explain in words the welcome that you get, how friendly people are. Cardiff has 3 universities, so it's very much a student kind of community as well, which I think a lot of students find attractive. It's very safe as well. We've got a purple flag in Cardiff, which is basically a standard that says if you're going on a night out in Cardiff, then, it is a safe place to be as well. I think that's a lot of a concern, I think, when international students come to the UK. Yeah, especially parents are concerned about things like that. So, yeah, we do like to highlight that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, of course, for students, because most of them, at least our regions, they're Asian background, and when they go overseas, they feel like there's a big of a culture shock. So the best thing would be if people are very welcoming as well, showing them the ropes, not like really humiliating them, and just actually showing them everything. They feel like, oh, I'm very welcomed and I can integrate in very properly as well.
I mean, when I say we're welcoming, I mean as a location, as a city, as a region, South Wales. The one thing that I would say that's actually struck a chord with me, actually, we're really lucky to have a team called our Immigration and International Student Advice Team. Yes, they specialise in immigration and things like that, but they're actually our student advice team, and they are incredible people. They run our international welcome programme, which runs the week before enrolment. And they welcome students to come along. You get to meet other students, but you also learn things like about opening a bank account, registering with a doctor, driving in the UK. And I can't speak highly enough of them. The kind of scenarios that there probably isn't a scenario that they haven't already encountered, but they are so committed to making students feel, like you say, they don't want to make them feel stupid. They've seen all eventualities, and they're there to help students on the front line. 24/7 during those first few weeks.
Those are so important. Like, not even just saying going overseas. Like, when I become an adult, how do I open an account? How do I do my own things? I have no idea. Like, I really needed someone's help. I think it's a common social, like, society kind of community knowledge, but the school doesn't teach you in high school. But when you become adult, you're going to university and bam, you have to do it. We're like, okay, how do I start?
Exactly. And, if you wanted to learn how to open a bank account, you can Google it. But I think there's other things that team offers that you can go and see them face to face.
Exactly. It's
if
different.
You're feeling homesick, if you've got something that you don't want to discuss with, anybody else, they can go and have that free, confidential kind of safe space that they can go and speak to these guys, and these guys will 100% help.
Of course. Actually, talking about selling, it's one thing, because I have a little bit of an Australian accent as well. And, when I travel, a lot of people kind of pick up different accents. Do you think for international students going to Wales, the accent is compared with, in England, is it very different, or is it hard to cope with as well? Because, it's Scotland, they say it's very, very different as well. It's very hard to catch on. But I never really heard anyone saying that Wales is hard in terms of the accent, understanding it.
So there's definitely an accent in Wales. Not only is there an accent, there is another language.
Yes.
But don't worry, everybody speaks English. I don't speak Welsh.
Yeah.
But I would say that the Welsh accent can be quite strong.
Oh.
But it's not a bad accent. It's quite a nice accent.
Oh, really?
Yeah, nice accent. But we do have students that say, it might take them a while to kind of tune into that Welsh accent. I'll give you an example of how we're helping students with those kind of things, though. We've currently got students on our nursing programme. As part of their nursing programme, they go out and they do work placements in hospitals, doctors, the local area. And they have said that it can be quite difficult for them to understand the people that they're working with because they're obviously local. So we have our Centre for International English who deliver our pre-sessional programmes as well as in-sessional programmes. They're putting on special sessions for the nursing students. They're basically inviting people from my team, like myself, people that might have a different accent to the Welsh accent or different to what they're used to go along and kind of do some workshops and do some fun stuff so that they can learn to kind of tune into the different kind of accents. So yes, in short, Wales definitely has quite a strong accent, but we're aware of that and we help students to understand.
I mean, besides language, just learning anything, you need to practice every day, be immersed into it as well to be able to kind of integrate properly and then learn it very quickly as well, which is very important. But can students, besides providing workshops or opportunities, can students work part-time as well? Or is it common?
A lot of our students do work part-time. Obviously in line with the kind of visa restrictions if they're on a student visa. If for undergrad, they can work up to 20 hours per week during term time. So we do find a lot of students will take up part-time work. We help students to get part-time work if they want to do that. Locally in Treforest, there's lots of options within retail, but Cardiff's just a short kind of train journey away, so students will travel to Cardiff to find work. We do always say, the focus needs to be on your studies, but students are permitted and do, and there is value in that for them as well. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's a good way of earning a bit of extra money,
of course.
But it's also about getting experience, meeting other people, integrating into other parts of the culture outside of the university. We recommend that if students do want to work, that they try and do something relevant to their course, and if not, we provide them with opportunities where we connect them with employers looking for part-time
100%.
employees.
Because studying overseas, I think 50% of the value is the academic, but of course the other 50% is actually immersing yourself into the lifestyle. So as an international student, I always suggest, open yourself up, to different opportunities. Working part-time, not necessarily for the money, but really for the experience as well, working in a different country and also networking and just making friends outside of your comfort zone. And, if it's a customer service related, how to communicate on a business set, you'll definitely get something out of it, no matter if it's a soft skill or like a technical skill or just income. Having these opportunities are very important as well. And especially when you're so young, straight out of high school and going back into studies as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I like that you've kind of put the proportion of 50% on that, because I do agree that the strong emphasis on getting your qualification, getting your degree, graduating, but I like what you're saying in terms of it is about integrating into a kind of wider society. I'm trying to think of other examples of where we encourage students to do work placements, because as a university we are very much focused on employability. Yeah. We develop our courses with employers. We encourage students to work part-time or to undertake work placements. We have businesses that come in and they do workshops for students. So everything we do, at the end of the day, we know students come to us, yes, to have experience, but students want to get a good job at the end of their degree. Exactly. That's exactly why people want to study. So that's why we kind of have that focus throughout, the 3 or 4 years students are with us to make sure that they get that experience as well, that they can put on their CV, that they can show to employers. Just going back to our chiropractic course, I know I've kind of mentioned that.
Yep.
Many of our students, whilst they're studying, they will work part-time in local chiropractic clinics, maybe not as a practicing chiropractor because they're not yet qualified, but we encourage students to do that. In the final year of that master's, that is purely working in our chiropractic clinic, so they're dealing with real-life cases every day. So clients come into our chiropractic clinic and they treat those patients. That is pretty much the 4th year of the integrated masters. And we also have a day where I've mentioned that students go out and they work in local chiropractic clinics. We then have a day where we invite employers to come onto campus, meet our students.
Oh, that's nice.
They will interview students, and what we find is that 100% of our graduates all have employment before they've even graduated, because
100%.
we've created that link with employers. Yeah.
Wow. So basically it's like whoever studies that, there's 100% chance, or very likely, let's say, to get a job already. Oh, wow, that's very important. Like you study a degree, like you said, the whole point of a degree is for a career, right?
Yeah.
And a position. If you can even get a job already before you graduate, that is very assuring as well. And also the quality as well. Like it's the employers recognizing that degree.
Yeah.
It's so good that you know that if you enroll in that course, you're from that school, that program will highly recognize it. So even before you graduate, as long as you pass, we're going to employ you. That means a lot as well.
Exactly. And we're currently investing a huge amount in our chiropractic facilities. We recently opened a new teaching space on campus about 18 months ago. And then we're now going to be opening a brand new clinic. The clinical side of things is going to be based on campus right next door to the teaching space as well now. So brand new clinic coming for next year. So when we've developed that new building, we've obviously worked with those employers as well to make sure that we're giving students industry standard equipment and kit. So yeah, we really place a lot of value on making sure that students are work ready once they've graduated.
Amazing. I mean, from your opinion, because we're talking about employability and opportunities, would you recommend, or you reckon which industry or position you think has a lot of potential now or are emerging that international students should think about as well?
Instantly coming to my mind then was creative industries.
Oh, okay.
I've obviously mentioned that we've got the purpose-built campus right in the centre of Cardiff. I've talked about employment for chiropractic students. We have a wall of fame on our Cardiff campus whereby we have all the list of all the employers that we're currently working with.
Wow.
In Cardiff, but also in the surrounding area. I feel like there's more and more interest in the creative areas, creative industries areas, particularly around kind of animation.
Okay.
I mean, creative is the second largest. Cardiff is the second largest creative hub outside of London in terms of employers. So there's incredible experience on the campus, but also some incredible opportunities for work placements and things like that. So I think that's one to watch. We've got BBC, Doctor Who. Doctor Who filmed in Cardiff. So loads of kind of creative opportunities with employers as well as during the course, but also on graduation as well. So I do feel like that's an emerging trend.
I mean, I actually really want to talk a lot more about the opportunities in the creative industry, because a lot of people's mindset, especially parents as well, they feel that creative industry means being an artist, creating an artwork, putting it in a museum and selling it. And there's only not really handful, but there's only so many famous artists around the world. So when students want to study something creative related, they're like, you only study it for your hobby. You're not going to get a job. There's no employability. There's nothing at all. I want to get that message across. Like, is it really true? Like, is it only the options are these? Or is it so limited? Or what is creative industries actually?
I mean, if you look at how the world has changed in the last, even just the last 10 years, 20 years, God, I'm old. You know, the internet, everything's gone digital. And I think that's kind of changed how employment within the creative industries has become a lot more accessible, a lot more mainstream. And I can kind of understand why parents may have had that kind of mindset, but I think these days with everything going digital, it's just, you know, everybody wants a content creator, everybody wants everything recording, everybody wants a podcast.
Yes, that's what we're doing it.
I feel like it's really that the digital side of things has really opened so many doors for students who want to pursue it as a serious career. I mean, if you walk around our campus, I've mentioned Doctor Who, got the BBC, but if you walk around our campus, we've got posters of a whole range of films and projects that students have worked on. Our graduates, they stay in touch with us. They let us know that they're working on the latest blockbuster, Hollywood blockbuster, you know. I'm trying to think of some example of films, and all I can think is Paddington at the moment. We've had students work on Paddington. We've got, you know there's those big movies. We kind of showcase the kind of careers that students have gone on to, and their roles within those kind of projects that those careers that they're working in now. So yeah, I feel like lots more opportunities, and Cardiff is a great place to take advantage of those.
Exactly, and I think an important message is that creative industry, doesn't mean you're just going to be an artist. There's going to be a progression. There's actually, industry related. A lot of businesses do rely on some sort of creative background people as well. Not necessarily saying you have to work in a creative business, but within a typical business, you might have creative industry related positions available. Like even just for us, marketing. Within marketing, there's media, right? And then media, and then maybe there's creative arts. These are all related. So it's important to let students and parents know that creative industry is not just fine arts. It's not just drawing. There are a lot more opportunities right now and very different as well.
Yeah, it's not just a hobby. It's a serious career option.
Exactly.
And one which can, a lot of our students, they'll come to us and they're working all over the world. So it can kind of really open up some, obviously you go into an industry, but you have the opportunity to do things as well as just working. You can take those skills and go and work overseas as well if you wanted to.
Absolutely. I mean, another one that, before we started, we had a conversation about the nursing as well. Is it okay to talk a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. We have a nursing degree that is open to international students, which we are thrilled about. It is a 3-year adult nursing course. One of the most interesting things about it is that students do not necessarily need to pay tuition fees.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Very.
So basically, with the University of South Wales, we're based in Wales. We have the Welsh NHS. The Welsh NHS are funding studies for overseas students to come and become nurses within the UK, within Wales. So students will study for 3 years. Throughout those 3 years, you will conduct placements, like I mentioned, with the students, trying to kind of understand the different accents. And then once students have successfully completed the course, as long as they work within the Welsh NHS for 2 years, after that, it means they don't need to pay any tuition fees.
Exactly. I mean, it's a good thing. There's a secure position. You don't have to pay tuition. You're basically getting paid to go there.
Yeah.
Basically, it's the best.
Absolutely. So you come, you don't pay any tuition fees. You've got, it's not just any job in the Welsh NHS either. It's graduate level jobs that we have links with the NHS for you to progress to. You work for 2 years. You can continue working then if you wanted.
Yep.
Or not if you preferred to maybe move over NHS England or something like that. Also to mention, as well as waiving the tuition fees, there's also a £1,000 bursary per year for students to put towards living costs.
Wow.
So if you're looking for excellent value and, a vocation as a nurse.
It's beyond excellent value. You're literally paid to study there, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, like you said, because it's not as expensive in London, and you get 1,000 bursary. And it's basically like you're getting profit while you're studying there too.
Yeah.
If you have that kind of mindset,
yeah,
it is good. But I mean, of course, you did mention about how there is a, because it's very attractive, but there is a cap on it as well. Is that correct? Very competitive, I would say.
It's incredibly competitive, as it is funded by Welsh Government, Welsh NHS. There is a limit as to how many students we can take, and therefore that creates, certain competition within. This is open to the whole world almost. So there is a limit, but absolutely we we do.
At least it's willing to be offered. Like there is an opportunity there.
Yeah.
And the good thing is it's open, like it's funded by NHS, but it's actually open to international students.
Yeah.
That itself means a lot to international students, saying that there is a lot of opportunities, not just academically, but career-wise.
Yeah.
There is a lot, which is good. I mean, they always think about students just going to the UK, and they always just realize England, UK. But they realize, it's actually made up of, there's a lot more opportunities. And the thing is, if you graduate, like you mentioned, you have a guaranteed position. After that, you're settled, you're kind of integrated. Most likely you'll love it and then you'll stay there. But if you do want to move just next door to your neighbor, to England, it's still available. It's still possible, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. But throughout your academic program and the first 2 years of your career, you're just going to be in Wales, and it's not that far away. And you're already not paying a lot of money for the cost of living. So it gives you a really good way for you to settle down as a student, and also for your career as well once you graduate.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. What about, because I did mention about how international students always recognize like, it's just London and UK and England. Are there a lot of students from maybe Hong Kong or any Asian countries in Wales at the moment? Because they might think that, diversifying is good. They might not want to go to a particular university if there's too many of the same background. But at the same time, they might want at least a few. So when they go, at least they know that, oh, I'm not the first one.
Absolutely. So, totally appreciate that students might be looking for someone where they aren't, there's a reason you go overseas. You want to integrate with other cultures, people from other places. In terms of Hong Kong students at the University of South Wales, I'd say currently maybe only a handful. We don't have lots and lots of students, but we do have students there.
Yep.
In terms of the community within the South Wales region, obviously I've mentioned there's 2 other universities in Cardiff, so Cardiff University and Cardiff Met. They've also got populations of Hong Kong students there as well. So you wouldn't be out of the ordinary. You wouldn't be,
just myself and only 2 or 3 people in the whole Wales. What about just not in a university setting, but just as a whole in Wales, the Asian community? Is it a very big community, or it's not that many?
We've got quite a large Asian community in Wales, particularly in South Wales. I would say, obviously, Cardiff. Obviously, Cardiff's in South Wales, so kind of a lot of students are attracted by the capital city and our neighbour Swansea. I know that there's quite a lot of Asian students in Swansea as well. So it really is a really diverse kind of place to live. And nobody would be out of place in Wales.
No one would be out of place, but it's not standing out or feel uncomfortable. It's friendly people, so they integrate perfectly as well, multicultural and everything.
Yeah, I mean, if I want to talk about myself a little bit more, I've obviously, I'm from England. I moved to Wales and I knew one person.
Oh.
And I'd only met that person once.
Wow.
But within weeks, everybody wants to give you a warm welcome. Everybody wants to introduce you to people. Everybody wants you to make friends. People want you to be happy in Wales. And I think that's a real kind of attraction, because I think you can go to some capital cities and then perhaps not as friendly. And
people are busy minding their own business.
We'll
be nice about it.
Let's go with that.
We'll be nice with that. You guys go there and you guys will experience the difference, right? It's only an hour or 2 away. We're not naming where, but within that radius, you guys know where. But it's true. But I mean, I had I think, because I went to the UK once, it was my first time, and then I did make a day trip to Cardiff just to see a student. I think that Cardiff is relatively, the city itself is relatively very young. I saw a lot of young, people around there. I'm feeling old as well now. I should say, there's people around my age around there as well. So is it true, Cardiff itself is relatively a young type of demographic city? 50-50 at least, or?
I'd probably go 50-50.
Okay.
It's a university city. It's going to naturally attract younger kind of people coming in to do undergrad courses. But then there are people, my age, getting into my 40s.
That's still young. Don't worry.
Then I'll take that.
Because I'm getting close, but I'm creeping towards that age maybe in a bit.
So I feel like then there's other people like me. I didn't study in Cardiff, but it's home forever now.
Yeah.
I won't be moving. But then there are kind of older. We have quite a lot of PG students. I know we're talking in more general terms, but we have quite a lot of postgrad students that come to us. So the more mature students. Yep. Tend to do. I know we've got we've got a Hong Kong student at the moment who's going to be coming to do MA film with us, and I think that's kind of so. I think it's probably really difficult to say, I guess, but it's not just for young people.
Yeah.
But young people find lots of fun things to do there.
Amazing. That is good to hear, though. I mean, there has to be a balance, because I said 50% is about the lifestyle. We know that focusing on academics is important, but there are still weekends and breaks in between. Yeah. So they still want to have a social life, because they graduated from high school fresh out of that, kind of energy type of period. They want to keep that going. And it's university, right? It's a bit more freedom. Of course, focusing on academics, you can do part-time, but at the same time, you want, a good environment as well. Mm-hmm. Just one final thing is... what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, for international students, most of them, because we're talking about careers, of course, there are those who graduate and they go back to their home country. But those who do want to, stay there, do you think most of them will stay in Wales, or will they move to other parts of the UK? I know there's no statistics, but I don't know.
Yeah. As a general theme, I would say a lot of students will come and study in Wales and stay in Wales. You kind of fall in love with the place a little bit.
Yeah.
But we do find students will also, they can come and they can get their degree in Cardiff, but a lot of them want to kind of progress their careers in London, for example. So a lot will kind of move to London if they stay in the UK. or anywhere else in the UK, but I would say, particularly we've talked about creative industries.
Yeah,
I think a lot of creative industry students, they will stay in Cardiff because they've got all those employment opportunities I talked about. But obviously, London's also an obvious choice as well for them if that's what they kind of wanted to, if they wanted to move out of the.
Yeah, I mean, that is important too, just kind of emphasize on that part, because some students think that, because technically Wales and England, even though their neighbour is kind of different, does that mean that if I study in Wales, I have to stay in Wales because of my degree for the opportunities? But the realistically it's not. You can also use that degree and then progress to other parts of the UK as well. So at least it gives that open opportunity for them. So we know that the value there is not just saying, if you go to Wales and study, you have to stay in Wales. No, not really. You can just go other parts of the UK, or even just globally as well. It's recognised, which is good. And not statistically, but at least you see students that have gone both ways. Three ways. Either they go home, they stay in Wales, or they go to other parts of the UK as well.
Yeah, I mean, I know we have quite a lot of students who will come to us for their undergrad, and they often progress back over the border into England for their master's courses, just to kind of experience a different area of the UK, or it might be something specialist that they want to do at a different university. So we do see a lot of students staying in Wales, but also a fair number kind of going into England, and obviously they've got the option to go back home.
Well, thank you so much, Kim, for today, for your time. And once again, thank you so much for watching and listening, everyone. If you have any questions about University of South Wales or just education in general, feel free to contact us or contact Kim as well. Thank you again. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.